He's very, very competent, and his refereeing tends to be very, very, very disciplined and very good.
Of course, tempers can flare up at some point. As you mentioned, Michael, football is football at the end of the day. And we have, of course, the 13th person who is always, the fans, who can always, spike the tensions inside the field. And this game is very crucial, Michael, for both sides. Leverkusen are keen to, of course, secure a slot in the Champions League playing. And also Mainz, of course, considering that they don't really drop into that relegation zone. And
And
there we go.
yes, we've got a kickoff in a few seconds. But just to describe for our listeners, we've got Leverkusen playing from the left to the right in their non-traditional home outfit. Today they are wearing a white top jersey and black shorts, and that is paired with black socks, I should hoses to go with that. And we've got Mainz, on the other hand, wearing what appears to be blue tops and down jerseys, pairing that with red stocks, also hoses, and it appears to be quite similar for with the Leverkusen home jersey, and that would probably explain why Leverkusen opted for their third option jersey.
Let's see if the jerseys bring some luck for both sides, of course, Michael. And there we go. Mines appear dangerous in this starting minutes of this showdown, Michael.
Absolutely. We've got a first attempt by Mainz, albeit a very feeble one by Philip Tates. He lobbed the ball over the goalpost, and that didn't cause any danger at all to Bayer Leverkusen. But we've got the first goal kick of the game here this afternoon, and it's going to be Blaswich who takes that kick. He passes it short. Blaswich sends in a long one, and he's searching for Palacios. He finds him, but the ball ends up with Hoffman, and it goes out of touch for a throw-in favor of Leverkusen. A quick throw-in by Arturo, and the ball is lost to Mainz, and it ends up in the Mainz defense. It is Posch who handles the ball, finds on the right-hand side. Call finds on the right-hand side. Wildmer goes forward, but he is challenged. He brings the ball back and finds Call once more. Mainz playing the ball in their half, trying to read the game and trying to penetrate the midfield defense of Leverkusen.
Michael, quite notably is that Danny Da Costa is on the bench today. I don't know if this will deal a blow to this Mainz side.
Of course, when you've got a player of the stature of Danny Da Costa, you want him to feature in the game. But he most likely has picked up an injury. Hopefully, he should recover soon and join the side. Proceedings are still underway here at the Bay Arena. It is once again Blaswich who sends in a long one, searching one, but the ball ends up with Mainz. Mainz appears to be going forward. Nibel in charge of the ball. He finds Wilderman on the right-hand side, but that ball is lost. It is Ernest Puku who gets the ball. He handles, he checks, and there's a foul on Alejandro Grimaldo. So the referee whistles for a spot kick, a foul in favor of Leverkusen. Leverkusen building once more from the behind. Long searching ball in search of Patrick Schick. Finds Patrick Schick on the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's Hoffman who finds, but it's a very, very feeble attempt on the part of Jonas Hoffman. It was a very long searching ball from Ezekiel Palacios, and he found Patrick Schick on the edge of the 18-yard box, and Patrick Schick laid a really, really neat ball in front of Hoffman, but the final touch was weak.
Of course, Leverkusen coming from the backdrop of the Champions League playoffs, having qualified to be the second team to represent the Bundesliga in the UEFA Champions League, which is quite impressive, Michael. I hope they can show that in today's game as well.
I do hope so. I hope they play better than they did on Tuesday night. I was in the stadium, and to be very honest, many of the Leverkusen fans were quite disappointed with the performance of the team. It appeared that Leverkusen was banking on its away advantage, the earlier scoreline, to sail through. So there wasn't any attempt, or serious attempt, I should say, to caused serious problems for Olympiacos. And it was also quite surprising that a player of the stature of Alejandro Grimaldo was playing in defense, perhaps to show the kind of mentality going into that game. Hopefully today here, they come out in full force. Hopefully Kasper Hjulmand has a different strategy to take on Mainz, because don't forget Leverkusen lost last week. And so they will be hoping to get a few points at home if they really want to have a top 4 finish, which a team like Leverkusen absolutely deserves.
I used to support this team, I must admit, Michael, but I shifted my allegiance after Alonso left. And there we have a dangerous one from Mainz, but it has been saved by Jans Blackswitch.
It was Geraldo Becker who was marauding forward, but his attempt was quite weak and it was saved very calmly by Blackswitch. Leverkusen going forward once more. Ezekiel Palacios searching, brings it back to Robert Andrich. Andrich back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba, Grimaldo. This is what we expect of Leverkusen, to possess the ball, hold on to the ball, look for open spaces, and then hit on a quick one. A long searching one by Tapsoba, but that ball is stopped by Cole.
Yeah, and making mention that they build from behind, of course, to look for opportunities. But I used to see like players like Frimpong being very aggressive, moving forward and bringing, feeding, their strikers with, goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. The mentality and the play of Leverkusen has changed significantly. You should also acknowledge that Frimpong was a very fast player on the wings, and we also had then Victor Boniface, who had that telepathy with Frimpong, and so he knew if he went forward, Frimpong was going to find him, and Frimpong was able also to recover and come back and help out in defense. But at the moment, Nathan Tell, who is able to play that role, is out injured, and so Leverkusen has to adjust their strategy. Hence their slow build-up, I believe. So they are building once again. Robert Andrich searching for Jarel Kwanzaa on the right-hand side, the near side, back to Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa to Andrich, Andrich back to Kwanzaa, and it's Jonas Hoffmann who mishandles the ball. The ball is kicked towards the 18-yard box of Leverkusen, and he ends up with Blackswitch to Tapsoba, Grimaldo. Grimaldo tries to go forward, but the way is blocked. He sends it back to Tapsoba.
Ahead of this match, the Leverkusen coach has said Mainz is a top team, and they have done very well since Urs Fischer arrived. And of course, Leverkusen obviously need to take up a step forward compared to their last performances in the last games if they have to fight and play well to get the win. And I can see this is the attitude forming up, Michael.
Leverkusen going forward, and it's Patrick Schick who's got a ball, but he miskicks that one and ends up on the edge of the 18-yard box. It is not spoiled yet. It's Jarel Kwanzaa who holds the ball now, and he finds at the back 4, and the ball, Leverkusen holding on to the ball at the edge of the 18-yard box. Tapsoba searches. Robert Andrich back to Jarel Kwanzaa. Leverkusen holding on to the ball. It seems like the worst is past, but the Leverkusen trying to build once more.
Pretty impressive build-up.
Jarel Kwanzaa goes forward, but the ball ends up with, okay, it's a long searching one in search of Eric Poku on the left-hand side, the far side of the screen. And that was a very, very terribly lost ball by Leverkusen. The ball ends up with Mainz, and it is Geraldo Becker who is appealing for a foul, but the referee waves play on.
Play on. And just to our listeners across the continent, just to mention that this game that we are commentating on is Leverkusen versus Mainz, but we are also following other matches in the Bundesliga. Gladbach are hosting Union Berlin. The game is still at 0-0. Werder Bremen are hosting Heidenheim. The game is still at 0-0, the ninth minute so far. Offenheim, the third place side, is also hosting St. Pauli, Little St. Pauli, and the game is also at 0-0. And also to mention, today is a great day in the Bundesliga. They call it their Klassiker, Michael.
Yeah.
Dortmund hosting Bayern Munich.
That should definitely be a game one to watch. The biggest two clubs in Germany by far, and Bayern Munich traveling to Dortmund. Hopefully, it should be an exciting game. We are back here at the Bay Arena, and it is Daniel Bartz, who's got a ball, and he sends in a long one in search of Geraldo Becker, but it's cleared by Tapsoba, and that clearance was quite. The ball being volleyed all the way to the edge of the 18-yard box of Leverkusen is Geraldo Becker, but he seems to be alone, and he's got a couple of 3 or 4 white shirts who are defending. The ball is now in the possession of Leverkusen. It's Robert Andrich to Tapsoba on the left-hand side. Tapsoba searches. He finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo has fallen back to help out in defense, and the ball goes back to Blaswich. Blaswich searches for Poku. Poku mishandles the ball, and the ball is cleared, but ends up again with Robert Andres on the edge of the 18-yard box. Leverkusen building with confidence from behind, and it is Poku who has fallen all the way back to help out in defense. They are under pressure quite a bit, and Leverkusen sends in a very long one, and that is cleared, but the ball ends up again with Leverkusen. It's Alejandro Grimaldo who is going forward, but the ball is lost. Recovered by Mainz. Geraldo Becker searching, going forward, but he's got no support, so he sends the ball back all the way to Yang Yusun Lee, and the ball ends up at Daniel Bartz's department in the goal area.
Of course, pretty clear, Geraldo Becker putting up an extra shift here, Michael. I don't know, is the formation really working for them? Because you're seeing him, of course, shifting his positions here and there, all in search for this, all crucial goal.
When you play against a side like Leverkusen, you need to adapt because they are a possession-heavy side, and if you are up front as a striker and you're not getting the service, then you need to fall back into midfield to help out, and that's what Becker seems to be doing so far in this game. It was a long searching ball by Leverkusen, but that's now been cleared. Mainz in possession of the ball. Mainz going forward. Mainz searching. They find Philip Imwene on the near side. Philip goes forward. He's searching, but he finds Sano. Sano all the way to Mainz is on the edge of the Leverkusen 18-yard box. And there's the appeals for a corner kick. Mainz gets the first corner kick of the game. It was the captain of the side who was trying to send in a long one into the 18-yard box, and this was cleared by Tapsoba. So Mainz get a first corner kick of this game.
Of course, the first corner kick. Let's see if they can convert this into the first scoring opportunity in this particular game. Mainz are sitting in the 13th position in this Bundesliga, and it is a position that they don't want.
It was Paul Nebel who took that corner kick, but there was a bit of miscommunication, and so the ball was lost. But Mainz recover, sending a long one, and it goes out of touch for a throw-in. And we've got Jonas Hoffmann on the pitch. He seems to have taken a knock by the Mainz players, and it was Paul Nebel who seemed to have tackled him roughly, and Jonas Hoffmann is on the pitch holding onto his ankle. Hopefully it's not a serious injury and he can return to the game.
It doesn't look very serious, Michael. Hopefully he returns to the game. And yes, as we mentioned earlier on, Mainz is on the 13th position in this particular league. They were struggling at the relegation zone, but of course, with a number of few wins and draws, they've been able to climb up to avoid that, dreadful relegation zone. But the game actually And the expectations are high on the home side today, who are expected to, of course, leapfrog RB Leipzig. The home side being at the 6th position in the Bundesliga, quite uncomfortable for such a team that were once, champions in this particular league.
So there's been a pause in the game, George. Patrick Schick getting further instructions from the coach of Leverkusen, Kasper Hülmond, and Jonas Hoffmann still on the pitch. It appears that the injury was more serious than we initially thought. He's being checked by the doctors on the pitch, and the referee is also there having a chat with him. And the game has currently been held up as we see Jonas Hoffmann limping off the pitch. I'm not sure if he will be able to continue. He doesn't seem to. He seems to be in some real pain so far in the game, but hopefully it's not that serious. Hopefully, but we've got a throw in favor of Leverkusen, and it is Arthur who is behind the ball, going to effect the throw in. He sends in a long searching one, and it was a good throw, but it's cleared by Mainz, out for another throw in. Ato once again behind the ball. And confirmation that Jonas Hoffmann is back onto the pitch. That's good. We like to see that the players are not injured in the course of playing. It can be very, very frustrating for players when they get injured. So it's good to see that Jonas Hoffmann is back in action on the pitch. That scare seems to have passed. Leverkusen in possession of the ball. Tapsoba sends a long section one, finds Jarrell Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa to Robert Andrich. Back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba back to Arthur, to Poku.
And just for our listeners who are following us from UBC Uganda, much appreciated, and also Right Power in Nigeria, much appreciated. And those joining us across Africa, you should know that Bayer Leverkusen are based in Western Germany, in the city of Leverkusen near Cologne. It is one of the teams near us, Michael.
It is.
Yeah, and it is a club that grew out of a factory team started by workers from the Bayer Pharmaceutical Company back in the 1904. Leverkusen is not one of the Germany's biggest city, but in football terms, it is one of the heavyweights with a very modern, flyer-rich academy.
Absolutely. I should say, if people from Leverkusen will pardon my comparison, but they've got an outsized team for the city.
the team is bigger than the city.
Absolutely.
Lovely how Michael puts it. The tempo seemingly reduced, Michael, not very fast as expected.
But just as you were saying, we've got Mainz going forward, and they're trying to make inroads there, but that stopped by Leverkusen, and the ball goes out of touch for a goal kick. But you're absolutely right. The game has been quite slow so far in the last 19-20 minutes that we've seen. We've only seen one decent attempt at goal, and that was by Mainz. Leverkusen hasn't really made any serious incursions at the Mainz goal.
Clearly, pressure is on their side, piling on their side. Something very uncomfortable. They must overcome that. The home side looking very comfortable to press forward. And Michael, could you say that you miss the error of, the errors of striker? What is the name of the striker? Victor Boniface.
Definitely. Victor Boniface was an imposing figure at the front. He doesn't just have the physique to take on the defenders, but he's also got the skill. He's got a pace, and we are missing quite a bit of that. But not to take anything away from Patrick Schick, the shape of Leverkusen has changed since Xabi Alonso left the team. They have lost a lot of their top players, and so Patrick Schick is playing in a different side now.
Yes.
And he has to play a dual role of having to fall back to support in midfield and also trying to get a goal. And so definitely Victor Boniface was an imposing striker with the physicality and the speed and everything to take on the defense and score impressive goals. But the entire team, Leverkusen, has changed since we saw them win the title.
Grueling moments that everybody wishes are coming back. And of course, maybe Xavi Alonso is jobless now. They should call him back.
I don't know if that's on the cards for Xavi or Leverkusen. So Leverkusen going forward on the edge of the 18-yard box. Poku on the edge of the box. He tries to go forward. He finds Tapsoba. Tapsoba sends in a long one, but that has been cleared by Mainz. The ball is still up in the air. Mainz finally send a long cross clearance out of there, but it ends up again with Tapsoba. Tapsoba in search of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa going forward. And it is once again Ezekiel Palacios. Tapsoba finds an Espoku on the left-hand side. Poku goes for it, checks 1-2, tries to dribble past, but he stopped. He sends in the ball. He goes on the right-hand side. Leverkusen trying to find spaces. And we've got on the right-hand side, Arturo. Back to Robert Andrich, Tapsoba. There's been a very good spell of play by Leverkusen, but they are not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. It's just a build-up on their side. Entertaining football without any, dangerous result that is worth reporting about.
So Leverkusen being forced back. It is Jarrell Kwanzaa who finds Tapsoba. Tapsoba finds Poku on the left-hand side. Poku tries to go forward, but he checks and the way is closed. So he comes back to Tapsoba. And now Leverkusen has been pushed back all the way to the center circle. It's Robert Andrich goes forward. Again,
Robert
back to
Andrich.
Tapsoba.
Impressed at his leadership role currently, having played a number of, started in a number of games. And he appears solid currently, Michael.
He is a very, very solid player. He is the captain of the side for Leverkusen at the moment. One of the more experienced players on the pitch. And the players respect him so much. And he's also very flexible in terms of the roles that he's able to play on the team. Currently, he's playing in defense, but at times he is able to play in the attacking midfield position.
Versatile. That is what is needed in the current football age. Someone who can play all roles, including being a goalkeeper at some point.
You have to, because you saw it a few weeks ago when Tapsoba had to be a goalkeeper. So it's absolutely important that you have all of these skills. Proceedings are ongoing still here at the Bay Arena. Daniel Bass sends in a long one in search of Mainz, but that ball ends up in the Leverkusen end, and Leverkusen loses it to Mainz once more, and it goes back to Daniel Batz. He's searching. He sends in a long one, but it is collected calmly by Andrich, and Leverkusen lose it once again. Mainz going forward. Geraldo Becker was going for that ball, but it goes out of touch for a throw-in favor of Mainz. And when he steps up to take the throw-in, he's looking who is there to receive that ball.
Everything appears quiet across the Bundesliga fixtures today, Michael. Still 0-0 across the entire Bundesliga. Werder Bremen, Heidenheim 0-0. Offenheim, St. Pauli 0-0. Gladbach, Union Berlin 0-0. Here at Leverkusen, still 0-0. No goals scored in the Bundesliga so far today.
and it's Alejandro Grimaldo who was searching for Poku. But that ball is handled by the Mainz players. It ends up with Daniel Bartz. Mainz sending it back to safety. Daniel Bartz switches play onto the left-hand side. He's found Polutsky, and that ball was going forward, but it was Jonas Hoffmann who tackles Polutsky, and the ball goes out of touch for a goal kick for Mainz. A long section one by Daniel Batz, and it's goalkeeper to goalkeeper. Janis Blaswich gets it, and he finds Alejandro Grimaldo. Grimaldo searches, checks, Tapsoba to Andrej to Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa sends in a long one in search of Artur, but the ball was overkicked, and it goes out of touch once more for a goal kick. Edon Tapsoba and Ibrahim Maza, they are both managing minor injuries, and it's good that they're able to. Tapsoba, for instance, is able to start today. And centre back Loic Bade for Leverkusen picked up a thigh injury against Union Berlin, and he's been sidelined for a few weeks, and that's why he's not on the side at the moment. So Leverkusen losing some very important, key players.
Yeah, and quite interesting times for Leverkusen currently, Michael, because they're struggling in the league. They have the Champions League, staring at them, and they're facing Arsenal for starters. And I believe that the coach is very keen to ensure that all his players are on form, just to help him achieve all these expectations.
Well, he injuries unfortunately have hit the Leverkusen side, but they have a depth of substitute, and so they've still got Kofane, Martin Terrier, Montreal, Kulbreath. We've got Alex Garcia, Axel Tappe, Tim Oerman. So they've got some substitutes. So they will be able to fill some players, but it also comes down to whether these players play often together and whether they have this kind of telepathy and understanding of each other. So it's Mainz trying to go forward. Leverkusen survived that attacking push, and they handle the ball. It is Hoffmann who drops back. He finds Tapsoba. Tapsoba finds Alejandro Grimaldo on the left-hand side. Grimaldo trying to run forward. The ball goes forward, but it is Poku who is fouled by Mainz. And Leverkusen have a foul, a free kick.
Mike, because we are trying to abreast our listeners about this Bundesliga sides, we mentioned that Leverkusen is one of the teams close to us, but also Mainz are a German club from the city of Mainz in the states of Rhineland, Palatinate, and it's roughly half between Frankfurt and Koblenz on the Rhine River. But what is very interesting is that these Mainz sides have no major trophies, but they seemingly have built a very huge reputation as a well-organized and technical side, but no trophy since they started competing in major, competitions like Bundesliga.
And it's also their organization, is a testament to. They currently sit at number 13, which is more or less slightly above the danger zone, and so for them also this game is crucial because they would want to get a 3 points here in order to survive any possible relegation. So they are only a few points ahead of St. Pauli, Wolfsburg, and Heidenheim. Heidenheim at the absolute bottom of the table so far, and today they will be hoping to get 3 points here at the Bay Arena. But if Leverkusen have got something to say about that, they wouldn't want that to happen.
But I pretty much worry sometimes, Michael, as a football fan, just an imagination. Would you be just comfortable to avoid the relegation without any major, success in terms of qualifying for the Europa or UEFA Champions League?
Being in the Bundesliga is in itself an achievement. It's you should ask Cologne. They've been relegated so many times, and they always fight to come back into the Bundesliga. Because being in the Bundesliga, the top flight of German football, is a vote of confidence in your team. It is also the fan, the city, the community, and what playing the Bundesliga does for all the people, the supporters. So when you play in the Bundesliga, one of the 32 teams, it's a very, very big achievement. And so if you can avoid relegation to continue that, then you have succeeded.
Well put, Michael. So Mainz are okay at the 13th position, provided they avoid that relegation, which is very dreadful for most of the teams.
Leverkusen again holding the ball, checking, trying to go forward. But we've got a foul situation on Paul Nebel. He seems to have taken a knock on his face. It doesn't seem to be intentional. It was Ezekiel Fernandez who was trying to run, but his hand hit the face of Paul Nebel. And so proceedings have resumed. Leverkusen in possession of the ball. They try to build and go forward on the left-hand side, but all the wings are closed. They cannot seem to make it past the Mainz defenders.
No headway at all. They have to rethink the strategy again just to make sure that they pull in a surprising goal.
Tapsoba to Grimaldo. Once again, Leverkusen in possession of the ball. And yeah, definitely Leverkusen has been holding a lion's share of their possession. So far in this game, they have about 64% possession compared to 34 by 36 by Mainz. Leverkusen once again. Blaswich finds Tapsoba. Tapsoba searches, finds Poku on the left-hand side, the far side, and it comes back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba, Andrej, and back to Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa in search of Ator. Ator gets the ball, tries to check, tries to go forward, and he's running across. He finds Poku on the far side. Poku also tries to go forward. He finds Alejandro Grimaldo, but it was miscommunication. Grimaldo misses the ball, and the ball ends up with Blaswich. Tapsoba once again. Leverkusen trying to build forward, trying to go forward. Alejandro Grimaldo tries to find, and he finds Ezekiel Fernandez, and it is Morel Kwanzaa, and it is, unfortunately, he was trying to find the head of Patrick Schick, but that ball goes out of touch for a throw in favor of Mainz.
A pretty impressive build-up by Leverkusen, I must say. Hopefully, with patience, this will yield some results, Michael, because this is an impressive performance. We're seeing fans, dozing off in the stands.
Oh no!
This must
it's
show that this game is
how slow the game is.
It's pretty slow. They need a goal.
And if I'm being uncharitable, this is very similar to the kind of game that Leverkusen played on Tuesday night against Olympiacos. There was seldom any danger from Leverkusen, even though they were playing at home.
So what does that speak to their performance in the Champions League going forward?
There are two things. Either they are playing it safe, in the Champions League, I mean, we are reaching the stage where the competition is going to get really, really tough.
Yeah, the elite, standard required at that particular moment.
Yes, and for a side that has qualified from the playoffs, they need to show a bit more creativity, a bit more aggressiveness. The game I saw on Tuesday didn't give me that kind of confidence, and it looks like they are struggling to find Patrick Schick up front, and they lack ideas. As I mentioned, they have about 65% of the possession so far in this game, but they have no attempt at goal. So that should give you some context. They only have one attempt, which was in itself off target. Mainz, on the other hand, have two attempts and two on target. Although Leverkusen have had the far majority of the possession in this game, they haven't really troubled the Mainz goalkeeper. So we are back here, and they will need to change that if they're going to be able to score goals, and also not just in the Bundesliga, but also in the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely. That's very true. Because possession at the end of the day without a goal or without securing points, it's meaningless to many fans and also to the team itself.
Let's hope that things are going to pick up here. It is Mainz in possession of the ball. They are trying to string passes together going forward. And it's Sylvain Wilmer who is sprouting on the right-hand side. And he finds on that right-hand side, Mainz going forward. And it's cleared by Tapsoba. A last-minute clearance in the 18-yard box. That was looking very, very dangerous. The ball is cleared, but it's picked up once again by Mainz. And they're trying to go forward, trying to find spaces. And it is Jason Ling who is in charge of the ball right now. And he sends it back to Stefan Posch. Posch back to Bats. Bats calmly sends it forward again to Dominic Cole. Cole finds Sano. And Sano, Mainz slows down the game once more. Sano searches, he goes forward, he finds Cole on the right-hand side. And they find Wilma. Wildmar sent in a long one, but it's stopped by Leverkusen. Leverkusen finds Jonas Hoffmann. Hoffmann goes for Patrick Schick. It's up front, and he finds Enes Poku. Poku going forward. Poku on the left-hand side, the far side. He's got no support, and Mainz recover, and he finds Alejandro Grimaldo. Can they make something out of this? And it's a good one.
Oh!
But a very, very soft header by Patrick Schick. It was too central, calmly collected by Daniel Batz. But this is good football. It was Alejandro Grimaldo. He sent in a very, very nice cross, and he found pinpoint accuracy, the head of Patrick Schick, but it was too central and there was no power on it.
Of course, and it is a attempt worth mentioning, Michael. Now they are talking, they are in business now, making this game more entertaining. Hopefully we are seeing more of that before the whistle blows to the halftime. We are still at the 37th minute. Hopefully, both sides can show something worth, exciting the fans, especially the home side.
There's a lot more pressure on the home side to perform, to deliver. And Mainz so far has been quite impressive. They have managed to soak the pressure. And even if they are not in possession of the ball and Leverkusen is coming forward, they are able to coordinate the defense, and that is quite impressive. Mainz have won a free kick here so far, and it is Nobel who stands up. Nibel who steps up to take that free kick. He raises his arms, check, sends in a short one actually, and it is sent in once more, and it's a nice one, but it ends up on the roof of the goal. That header was a dangerous header sent in by Mainz, and it was Potowski who headed that ball, but it ended up on the roof of the goal post. Leverkusen coming forward, searching. Tapsoba. Tapsoba finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba sends in a long one and finds Enes Poku once more on the far side. And he finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo, what can he do about that? But it is what can Mainz? Unfortunately, Enes Poku's touch lets him down. He handled the ball in the 18-yard box, and he had a chance to shoot, but he bundled the ball, and that's been cleared back to the center circle. But Leverkusen is building once more from behind, and it is Andrich who finds Ezekiel Fernandez, and it is Artur who is in possession of the ball right now. 1-2 touch. Artur has passed the Mainz, and it's sent long one in. Ends up back with Artur, and Artur finds Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa sent to central. Ezekiel Fernandez 1-2, and it goes once more. What can they do about it? And it's low one, but it goes out of touch. It was beautiful play.
It's sizzling, Michael.
It goes out of touch for a goal kick in favor of Mainz. Beautiful football, 1 touch, 1-2 there by Ezekiel Palacios. He was trying to find the head of, I believe it was Patrick Schick, but ball was overkicked, and it went over the cross line. But good football here by.
And the fans are awake now, Michael. You can clearly see.
Now
they were yearning for that. The stadium is alive.
40 minutes gone. The scoreline remains 0-0 here at the Bay Arena. A series of headings ends up with Mwene in possession of the ball for Mainz, and he sends it back in search of Potowski. Potowski to Mwene, Mwene to Sano, but that ball is stopped and it goes out of touch for a Leverkusen throw-in. Actually, a Leverkusen free kick. Kwanzaa goes forward. He finds Andrich. Tapsoba. Tapsoba goes forward. Grimaldo, Tapsoba. Ezekiel Palacios. Grimaldo. Poku. Palacios once more. We've got a beautiful game play, but here by Alejandro Grimaldo. Grimaldo sends in a long one. He finds Kwanzaa. What can Kwanzaa do about that? It goes to Artur. Artur tries to sandwich the defenders, but that was not successful. And there are appeals here for handball by the Leverkusen players.
That's going to be checked, definitely.
Yes, the referee has hit his headset listening to VAR. They are reviewing currently that incident. It was Kwanzaa who hit the ball at full force, and Leverkusen is saying that the Mainz defender handled the ball in the 18-yard box. That is currently being checked by VAR as we review that incident there. Yes, it was definitely a handball. That is clear. It was Stefan Posch who handled the ball, but the test now would be whether the hand was in a natural position or whether or not it was extended. So this is taking a bit of time, and the referee is checking this. Tobias Stiller listening in his headset what VAR is going to say about it. What do you think, George? Do you think this is a penalty?
Of course, it's a clear penalty because it has been handled, definitely. But one would argue that maybe he slid off and his hand was not in that whatever natural position. But let's see what the VAR decides.
Okay, so now it is Tobias Stiller going over to VAR to have a look for himself. So there's a potential foul here. He's going to have a review of that incident. And just to recap, it was Jarell Kwanzaa, number 4 for Leverkusen, who on the edge of the 18-yard box tried to kick the ball, aim for goal, and Stefan Posch slid in to clear the ball. And while he did that, his elbow connected with the ball. Now the test here is whether or not, so review is over. Okay, so
Wir haben einen möglichen Strafstoß für Leverkusen überprüft. Die Bilder zeigen ein klares Handspiel. Gleichwohl, in der Angriffsphase zuvor lag eine Abseitsstellung von Nummer 20 Leverkusen vor. Finale Entscheidung, Abseits.
Okay, so
Sad
Mainz,
enough.
Mainz
Mainz
get
are lucky.
away.
Yeah, they get away with that, Michael.
So it was indeed a foul.
Yes, a handball.
It was a handball in the 18-yard box. However, Leverkusen player was offside.
Alejandro Grimaldo, for that matter, was offside.
And
so,
therefore, yeah. So the earlier incident, the offside occurred first before the handball. And so Mainz has been awarded a free kick because of Grimaldo's offside. So they escaped
VAR
that.
making football so interesting, Michael.
We have, again, Leverkusen going forward. That ball, long searching ball, finds Mainz. And the ball coming back now. We have now 4 minutes at a time for the first half. 4 minutes. The major incident that has happened in the first half, I should say, would be that a potential penalty that we just witnessed. Bayern's building from behind. It is Daniel Batz who gets the ball, sends in a long one in search of, but it is cleared. And it is, oh, that was a very, very, very dangerous clearance by Robert Andrich. He went in for the ball in the 18-yard box. It was Geraldo Becker who was going for the ball, and he slid in Robert Andrich and tried to clear the ball. He was successful, so there doesn't seem to be a foul there. It was very, very dangerous for him to have that kind of tackle here.
But that's a pretty good defending, Michael, and it's quite risky as well.
Very, very risky. Mainz once more trying to build. Yeah, on the edge of the center circle, going forward, searching, and it is Paul Nebel who gets the ball, and it goes quickly to Jason Lee. So Lee finds Mwene on the near side, sends in a long curl, but that is overhit, and yeah, that ball was overhit. It connects, but it ends up on the roof of the goal. Goal kick for Leverkusen. Jonas Hoffmann tries the 1-2 with Kwanzaa, but that ball is lost to Mainz. Mainz going forward. Jason Lee marauding forward. He finds Vidmar Sulvan on that far side. And there is a Leverkusen player on the pitch. Oh, and it seems to be
Jarell Quensah.
Arthur is on the pitch in pain, signaling to be substituted. Seems to have taken a knock. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Oh. Okay. So it seems to be a self-inflicted injury.
That could be an hamstring, yeah?
Yeah, he slid, and then he landed awkwardly on his leg. So this was not an incident involving the opponent, but Arthur slid on the near side as he was going in for a challenge, and he seems to have twisted his right thigh, and he is in a lot of pain. He's been treated on that pitch, and he's already signaled to be substituted. He says he cannot go on.
This shows you, Michael, that football is not easy after all.
It is not. It's a very, very physical sport, and the worst for a player would be to go out for an injury. We also, when Yamal Musiala suffered that injury,
it's a nasty one.
A very nasty injury in the Euros, and had to go out for several months. It can be very, very tough. And recently also, Davis for Bayern Munich Alfonso Davis has been out for a very long time with extended injuries, and he came back only to suffer another injury. Hopefully he's able to continue. But for many players, when you have an injury on the pitch, it can be very, very, very serious, and also takes a toll on their their mental health, because without not being able to play is the worst for any player.
Of
But
course.
confirmation that the injury is actually quite bad. So we've got the stretcher on the pitch. Arthur is being stretchered off the pitch. We wish him the best of luck and quick, speedy recovery. It cannot be a very, very good, good feeling for him right now. He's got his hands over his face, and he is very, 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 very. There's a lot of encouragement by the team medical staff. They are encouraging him to stay strong, as we hear applause from the stadium as they applaud him. He's stretched off. He's got a standing ovation in the pitch. The supporters recognize that this is very, very tough.
It's very tough, and especially right now as they try to reorganize, Michael. I'm just looking at maybe Alex Garcia being the only possible replacement for him. I don't know if the coach Kasper will gamble with another defender or find another winger.
So at the moment, we are almost at the end of the first half, and so there isn't a change so far affected by Leverkusen. They are playing with 10 men at the moment. I think they are hoping to go into the halftime break.
That is confidence.
Halftime break, and then re-evaluate their strategy and make the best possible substitution. So the referee checks his time. 4 minutes already up, and Tobias Stiller any moment from now should blow for the end of the first half. Leverkusen still playing with 10 men. Arthur stretched off, and it looks like a very serious injury. We've got a throw in affected by Tapsoba, a very long one, and Tapsoba once again getting the ball. Mainz in possession of the ball once more. They try to go forward, and they are handling the ball very effectively. Jason Lee gets the ball. Mwene, he goes back. Mainz goes to Sano. Mainz going forward, using their numerical advantage. Leverkusen still playing with 10 men in the hopes that the first half will end very soon. And Mainz going forward, a long searching ball which goes out of touch, and most definitely now should be the end of the first half. Perhaps Tobias Stiller is taking into account that long stoppage that we had when Arthur had that injury, and so he added a few more minutes so that the first half can conclude properly. We've got now the ball in possession of Yanis Blaswich. He sends in a very long one, and as the ball flies, we've got Tobias Stiller signaling the end of the first half. In the first half, it's been, I should say, a very, very calm game, George. The two sides have been sizing each other up. Nothing really dramatic happening in the first half of the game. A few chances here and there, but nothing really serious. The two strikers, Philip Tietz and Patrick Schick, both tied at 2 attempts at goal, but only one serious attempt by Leverkusen, and we've got 2 serious ones by Mainz. So far, in terms of possession, Leverkusen having the most dominant, 57% of the possession compared to 43 by Mainz. But so far, I would say it's been a 50-50 game. Leverkusen can do a bit more with the possession that they have, but I'm sure that the coach will have a chat with them as they go into the halftime. And also, we all know in the course of the halftime who is going to replace Arthur, who's been stretched off for that injury.
Definitely. So,
Kepler 45-2B, DJ Mopao, Frontiere Aliwa. Karanga photo!
of course, Leverkusen is one of the sides that is representing Germany in the UEFA Champions League, and pretty interesting this week. there was a draw of the round of 16. What is interesting among many football pundits is that German clubs have had strong seasons in the past, but currently we're just seeing only two teams representing Germany. We had 3 to 4 Bundesliga teams, qualifying in the round of 16. And of course, we also have to mention that Bayern, Borussia Dortmund have since won, the Champions League before. But with this season, teams like Leverkusen and Bayern are the only ones that carrying the hopes of, the Bundesliga, one of the weakest Bundesliga showing in the recent memory in Europe. It doesn't match the history laws of 1990s, when Germany sometimes had just one club in the tournament, but it is clear sign of down cycle compared with so strong Bayern, Dortmund, Leipzig, Leverkusen era of 2010s and, of course, 2020s. So the football world is buzzing over the UEFA Champions League round of 16 draw and spotlighting the blockbuster clashes like Real Madrid versus Manchester City, which has now turned to be the European El Clasico, and reaction center on heated repeat rivalries, surprise underdogs, and thrilling paths to the final in Budapest. So first leg kicks off are on March 10th to 11th, with returns on March 17th to 18th. Now let's hear more about this.
DW Bundesliga.
The Champions League round of 16 is finally here. Pundits call it widely unpredictable despite some familiar heavyweights repeat showdowns. So who is facing whom?
Welcome, Ivan.
Former Croatian and Barcelona star Ivan Rakitic alongside UEFA draw host Pedro Pinto unveiled the ties at the UEFA headquarters, the House of European Football in Nyon, Switzerland.
Everything is ready. Now it's your turn. Please start with the ball of position 7 and 8, a shuffle, and first team drawn to join the silver side.
Manchester City.
So Manchester City is going to join Real Madrid on the silver side for what has become now a European Clasico. 8 previous ties, including in the league phase of this season. And that's the first great challenge that we're going to have in this round of 16.
Yes, record 15-time winners Real Madrid meet Pep Guardiola's Manchester City for the 5th straight knockout year. City edged Real 2-1 in the league phase this December, but Madrid triumphed in last year's round of 16 playoffs, just like the 2024 quarterfinals and 2022 semi-finals. City did claim the 2023 semis. In all the 15 meetings, each side has 5 wins, the rest draws. Here is what Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola had to say.
Yeah, for our club, as much you play against the best teams in all history in this competition, you learn and improve, and you are better in the future. I think they are used, they are not young, and they are used many years playing in this period.
Pedro Pinto proceeded with the second pair of teams.
The second team of this pair, which is
Sporting Club.
Which is, of course, Sporting Club de Portugal, and Sporting Club de Portugal will visit the great outsider of the season, Bodo Glimt. Never these two teams have played in a European competition, so it's a premiere.
Bodo Glimt's Champions League debut came in July 2021's unglamorous first qualifying round. The Norwegian newcomers fell 3-2 to tiny Aspiram Stadium to Liga Warsaw, then 2-0 in Poland. That sparked a magical European odyssey. They pivoted to the Europa Conference League's qualifiers 18 games later, bowing out to Jose Mourinho's Roma in quarters. In 2022 and 2024, Champions League playoffs ended in August heartbreak. Last season's Europa League run hit the semis against Tottenham. Last August, Bodo Glimt cracked the code, a Norwegian title and direct playoffs, crushing Stram Graz. The elite league phase awaited, fueled by steady progress under sporting director Thomasen and coach Keitel Knudsen, both abroad since 2017, plus a loyal staff. Now, here is where it gets interesting. UEFA prize money is starting to pile up. More than 30 million US dollars last season, and now approaching 17 million US dollars for reaching the Champions League round of 16. Now, if they beat Sporting Club, this will mean 14.8 million US dollars bonus from UEFA for the quarterfinals against Arsenal or Bayer Leverkusen. Now, on to the third pair.
We draw now positions 5 and 6, which were taken in the league phase by FC Barcelona and Chelsea FC. And the first team is joining, of course, the silver part.
Chelsea.
So Paris Saint-Germain versus Chelsea in this side of the bracket. They played 4 times in the past, but the last time in the Champions League was round of 16, 15, 16.
Chelsea stand PSG for the last year's Club World Cup crown. They've clashed in Champions League 2, PSG on the 2015-2016 round of 16s, but Chelsea nabbed the 2014 quarters. Chelsea's head coach Riam Rosner carries sky-high hopes into this duel.
So excited. PSG are a fantastic team. Obviously, I have experience of playing against them in France. They're a team that I've always admired. I think Lewis done an incredible job there. These are the games you live for. These are the games that you come into football for, and it's going to be a great tie between 2 fantastic teams. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. But we've got another 3 games before that I need to focus on.
Ivan Rakitic's former side Barcelona will face English side Newcastle United.
FC Barcelona.
FC Barcelona, that you know very well, Ivan. 3 previous ties with Newcastle.
As well, and that's where our focus is on, and not so much about points, gaps, all the difference. Although we are aware of the league table, right? And sometimes you can manipulate it, but I cannot manipulate the fact that we struggled a lot against the teams that promoted Burnley at home, Leeds at home. I probably forget 1 or 2. So we understand. At this moment of time, how difficult winning games in general is. Doesn't matter where they're positioned in the league table.
A glance at the draw shows English clubs thriving. Another one is Tottenham Hotspurs.
And this is Tottenham Hotspur against Atletico Madrid. these two teams faced themselves only once in history, and that was the Cup Winners' Cup of 1963. So it's an interesting remake of a very old final.
And now shifting to Germany, just two Bundesliga representatives are there, and they are
Bayern goes to the silver, and in the silver they will face Atalanta they never faced in the past. So for Bayern, which are in their 18th successive season in knockout,
Bayern, UEFA Group Stage League phase runners-up, still dominate domestically. Bundesliga fans dream Bayern restores the league's pride against Atalanta. Ambitious Bavarians won't sleep on the Italians, who hosted Dortmund in playoffs and stung Leverkusen their lone 2023-2024 defeat in the Europa League final. And finally, league phase toppers Arsenal will face Bayer Leverkusen. The Premier League front-runners Arsenal crave for a treble, but can they deliver? Here is what their boss Mikel Arteta thinks.
Well, we are very excited to play the next round. We have earned the right to be in a strong position, what we've done in the group stage, and that's it. And now we need to start to analyze them and find ways to be better than them to try to go through the tie.
Arsenal, Barcelona, Bayern, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Sporting Club, and Tottenham Hotspurs host second legs as top 8 league phase finishers. The draw locked in the road to glory, which means PSG, Chelsea versus Liverpool, Galatasaray in one quarter, City versus Bayern, Atalanta in the other tough half, and Premier League leaders Arsenal, Leverkusen, Bordeaux Glimt, Sporting Club, Tottenham, Newcastle, Barcelona, and Atletico fill the others.
DW Bundesliga.
Of course, stakes are high, as we've heard there. Unfortunately, Bundesliga, which is one of the competitive leagues in Europe, having only 2 teams representing them in the round of 16 in the name of Bayern Munich, who are the dominant league side in this Bundesliga side, and of course Leverkusen, who are playing today against Mainz. And back in the Bayer Arena, we've seen the first half ending in a deserved 0-0 draw. Mainz side starting to slightly get better, but Leverkusen growing stronger and stronger, dominating the game through possession, which have not really materialized to any goal-scoring chance. But Mainz continues to defend well, and occasionally they are showing, some threats through their counter-attacks, preventing any clear-cut chances. And therefore, the draw is fair, as many pundits have placed it. And the game also, what was so notable is that at some point, Arthur, who is Bayer Leverkusen winger, was seen lying down on the ground. That didn't look good at all for him. He had to be taken off the pitch by paramedics, and that was, of course, spelling, a prolonged injury. We're yet to get information about that, and also who will be replacing him in this second half. The teams are both back in the pitch, and we are ready to set off the second, of course, 45 minutes of this particular all-important game. And we already see that Tape is in, Michael. That could be the potential replacement for Arthur.
Yes, confirmation that Axel Tape, French Ivorian Axel Tape, is coming on in to replace Arthur, who was injured earlier. The 18-year-old is coming on, joining the side. Hopefully, he can bring his experience and skill and speed to change things here in this game. Arthur was working on the wings, and so Tape pairing up with the other winger, Ernest Poku, on the left-hand side, hopefully can make things happen for Leverkusen. And as we start the game quickly, we've got Mainz playing from right to left. playing from left to right, and we've got Leverkusen playing from right to left. And a quick reminder of the players that we've got here on the pitch. We've got Yanis Blaswich in the goalpost for Leverkusen. We've got Edmond Tapsoba, Robert Andrich, and Jarel Kwanzaa. We have Alejandro Grimaldo, Ezequiel Palacios, Ezequiel Fernandez, and now Tape. And we've got Enes Poku, Jonas Hoffmann, and striking for Leverkusen, we've got Patrick Schick.
Of course, in the Mainz side, nothing has changed pretty much. Michael, we still have Daniel Batza at the goalpost, Dominic Ho, Stefan Posch, Kaspar Potuski, Philip Mwene, Yan Yun Lee, Kaishu Sano, Paul Nebel, Sylvain Wiedemann, Philip Tates, and Geraldo Becker still on the pitch. No major changes, and pretty much appearing that the coach is much confident with this particular side, at least for some minutes before he makes any change.
Leverkusen win the first throw-in of the game. It is Edmond Tapsoba who steps up to effect that throw. Ernest Poku. Leverkusen was trying to find Ernest Poku, but the ball was handled by Mainz, and it goes out of touch for another throw. Quickly done by Alejandro Grimaldo. And that is Leverkusen going forward. Palacios sends a long one over to the far side, and it's Kwanzaa who finds Andrich. Tapsoba goes forward. He finds Poku. Poku lays a quick one. He was in search of Grimaldo, but that stopped. And another throw in for Leverkusen. A quick throw in effected, and it is Jonas Hoffmann who wins another throw in for Leverkusen. Leverkusen inching forward, one throw in at a time. And again, Grimaldo finds Hoffmann. Hoffmann checks, turns, and it's Tapsoba. He sends in a quick, long curl, but it's handled by Daniel Batz in the goalpost for Mainz.
Yeah, and Michael, you must know that the goalkeepers in this particular competition have not been tested as at yet.
They've had the holidays so far. The game has been played in around the center circle, so it hasn't really been any real test of the goalkeepers this afternoon. But we're going forward. We've got Leverkusen. It was Kwanzaa on the edge of the 18-yard box who was trying to place the ball on the extreme left-hand side of Bats, but he overkicked that ball and it goes out of touch for a goal kick. Quickly restarted by Mainz. Mainz going forward, and it is Posch who sends in a long one in search of Tits. But the ball is headed by Tapsoba to Blaswich. Blaswich finds Grimaldo on the left-hand side, the near side, and Grimaldo lays the ball, releases it to Tapsoba. Tapsoba tries to go forward. He's searching Palacios. Palacios comes back to help out in defense and finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba back to Andrich. Andrich goes forward, looks for, and he finds Jarel Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa tries to go forward on the far side. Jonas Hoffmann gets the ball. And what would they be able to do with it? They go forward. They find Ezequiel Palacios. Palacios finds Poku on the near side, on the left-hand side. He checks, tries to go forward. And he sends in a long one, but it is blocked once again by Mainz. And it goes out of touch for a throw-in. It was Poku who tried to pull a 1-2 and lay the ball across, but the Mainz defense was alive and active, so they were able to stop that ball. They win a throw-in, quickly effected, back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba to Robert Andrich, sends a long one. Kwanzaa finds Ezequiel Palacios, but that ball is miskicked, and it ends up with Mainz. Mainz tries to go forward, back flick, and it's going forward. It's Mwene who gets the ball on the far side. Mwene now finds on that far side there, Noble. Noble tries to go for it, but the ball is stopped. And it's in possession of Leverkusen once again.
Leverkusen have, a pretty heavy fixture in the coming days, Michael, facing Hamburg on Wednesday and Freiburg on Saturday before their first leg of the UEFA Champions League against, English Premier League leaders Arsenal. So I'm sure they have to put, their best foot forward in all this competition.
A foul in favor of Mainz. There was Patrick Schick who clipped the Leverkusen Mainz defender Stefan Posch, and referee whistled for a foul. The referee today is Tobias Stiller, 44-year-old lawyer from Oberhausen, and he's a very regular fixture in the Bundesliga. Leverkusen trying to go forward. Oh, that was a missed kick by Leverkusen. Geraldo Becker. Becker finds go forward, but it was stopped by Robert Andrich. Leverkusen living dangerously. This was a ball that could have ended up in a goal, but it was stopped by Robert Andrich. Leverkusen hitting trying to go forward, and he finds Fernandez. Fernandez checks, turns around, but his shirt is pulled, and he was looking for a foul, but referee waves play on advantage. Jonas Hoffmann gives the ball back to Tappe. Tappe forward. Robert Andrich. Leverkusen going forward. Sechin. It goes back to Yarao Kwanzaa, number 4. But there is a Mainz player on the ground holding the back of his neck, and it's Dominic Kohl. I'm not sure what exactly happened in that case, but Dominic Kohl holding the back of his neck. It seems to have taken a hit. Oh, okay. There was some nasty tackling there between Patrick Schick and Dominic Kohl. And that's why Kohl is on the floor. The referee going over to Patrick Schick to have a word with him. Tempest rising here.
Yeah, and also just to mention and to shift on to other Bundesliga matches being played. Offenheim, who are the third placed team in this Bundesliga, are 1 goal down against Little St. Pauli. St. Pauli 1, Offenheim 0. Werder Bremen is playing against Heidenheim. The game is still at a barren draw. Gladbach against Union Berlin is also at barren draw.
Here at the Bay Arena, we've got Jan Blaswich again kicking the ball from his station back there. Finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo tries to go for checks and sends the ball back to Tapsoba for safety. Tapsoba tries to go forward. Andrich is on hand. So Andrich finds Kwanzaa, number 4, on the right-hand side, the far side. We've got Ezekiel Palacios, finds Kwanzaa once more. Kwanzaa back to Andrich and back to Tapsoba. Playing the ball all the way at the back, and Espoku gets the ball, but there's no way forward. And Ezekiel Fernandez tries to lay a long one in search of Patrick Schick, but that ball is stopped. And it ends up with Daniel Batz, who sends it long, searching one back again. Tapsoba gets the ball, and he finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo tries to go for a check, sends it back to it's Tapsoba once more, again in possession of the ball. And it goes all the way back to Robert Andrich. Andrich, Ezekiel Palacios, Jonas Hoffmann, back to Grimaldo, but that ball is stopped, but it's not spoiled yet. And then Spoku on the near side, checks, goes forward, but Spoku's touch was quite feeble, I should say. He could have done a bit better with that touch. He was trying to place the ball around the defender, but he didn't leave too much space, and so the defender was able to stop the ball. The ball goes out of touch for a throw in favor of Mainz. Mainz steps up. Effecting the throw in is Dominic Kohl. He sends a long one in that finds Jason Lee. Son Lee finds Mwene on the far side. He's got millions yards and yards of space to run into. But the recovery by Kwanzaa was very, very good. Kwanzaa slid on the pitch and gets the ball out of touch for a throw in. Daryl Kwanzaa doing a lot of work on that side there. But Mwene was left to be there by himself, and there was no one to check him. But Mainz have a throw in now. Mwene steps up, goes all the way back, throws it all the way into the 18-yard box. That ball is missed, but it ends up again with Mainz. And Leverkusen get the ball. What are they going to be able to do with this? Grimaldo going for it. It's Dominic Orr who clears the ball all the way to Daniel Batz.
Of course, Michael, this is building more patience. And then one thing that defines Leverkusen fans is patience, loyalty, and deep connection, emotional connection with the team. But I don't know how much patience they still got for this particular team, especially in this game, because there is no goal as at yet, much as their team is dominating in possession.
Yeah, they need to convert some of that possession into actual goals. And so Leverkusen going for it is a good opportunity. And Espoku, what's he going to do? He finds on that far side. Oh, and he shoots it too high. Jonas Hoffmann was right there unmarked, waiting for the ball, but Espoku's touch was too high. And it goes out of touch for a goal kick.
Good attempt, though. Good attempt. What is the goal scoring chances for the both sides? What is the prediction, Michael?
I still think that Liverpool can win this, but at how they're playing, it looks like there's probably going to be only one goal in this game.
So who will score the goal? That is the big question that even the fans in Bayer Arena are asking.
Leverkusen win a corner kick. Can they probably try to use in practicing so far?
Converting this will be very crucial.
Someone steps up. He raises some sense in a long one, but the ball is headed out of touch. Leverkusen in to Tape. And Tape finds Andrich. Andrich holds on to the ball, finds Tapsoba. Leverkusen going forward once again. Ezekiel Fernandez to Andrich. Andrich searching, looking for opportunity, looking for spaces. Ezekiel Fernandez, he goes forward. He finds Poku on the left side, and Poku tries to go forward, but it's blocked. He finds Fernandez. Fernandez back to Jonas Hoffmann. Hoffmann back to Grimaldo. Grimaldo doing a very good job. He finds the ball once again. Jonas Hoffmann sandwiches the player. He goes forward. He finds Grimaldo on the left side. Grimaldo trying to place the ball in front of Jonas Hoffmann, but that is stopped by the Mainz players. And we've got here 2 changes coming up, and I anticipate that Poku is going to be substituted because he hasn't really had a good game, I should say. Jonas Hoffmann goes out. Yes. Jonas Hoffmann goes out and Ibrahim Massa comes on. Martin Terrier comes on for Ernest Poku, as I predicted. Ernest Poku not having a very good game.
Of course, those are 3 substitutions so far by Leverkusen. Remember, Mainz have not substituted their players, Michael. The coach seemingly having hopes that this current formation can still work and pull a surprise here in Bayer Arena.
Terrier now playing on the wings, on the near side, and already putting his stamp on the game so far. He wins a throw-in for Leverkusen. Leverkusen finds Alejandro Grimaldo quickly, but it's stopped by Mainz. So I guess that the goal here is to inject some pace into the game, because so far the game has been quite slow. Build-up has been very, very slow. And Leverkusen can do with a bit more pace.
Definitely, with pace, maybe it may shift the dynamics within this particular game, Michael, because the build-up has been pretty much, ending at their center half, not making any, progressive or any goal-scoring opportunity for both sides. Whereas Mainz are depending on any opportunity for counter-attack.
Absolutely. So we've got a free kick in favor of Mainz, and it is sent in very, very long into the 18-yard box. Tits was going in for it, but he misses it. And it is Leverkusen that gets the ball. Tapsoba sends in one. He finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo wins a throw in for Mainz.
Alejandro Grimaldo, Michael, is one of the remnants within this Leverkusen, the mighty Leverkusen side, who is really, putting up a spirited performance.
Yes, he's still playing very, very top at the top level. But I should also say that Edmond Tapsoba is a very regular fixture in defense for Leverkusen, and he's that central figure in the Leverkusen defense who has managed to stabilize that defense. Of course, Leverkusen have lost Jonathan Tah. They've lost, quite a lot of players.
Frimpong was my favorite.
Kosunu also there in defense. They've also lost him.
Florian Wirtz, without forgetting,
Absolutely.
who sustained an injury today and will not feature in the Liverpool match.
So Leverkusen winning the ball once again, and the ball gets back to Janez Blažević. He restarts the game from behind. Tapsoba going forward cautiously. Leverkusen likes to build from behind, slowly but assuredly. And that ball is Mesquita Palacios. Finds Terrier to Grimaldo. Grimaldo finds in the middle of the field Ezekiel. And it's a long one. What are they going to be able to do with that? Leverkusen, and it's a quick Patrick Schick, the first real opportunity here by Leverkusen. And he hit it centrally into the abdomen of Daniel Bates. But it was a really, really good opportunity for Leverkusen. It was Terrier who did a pullback. He found Patrick Schick in a very, very good position. But that spot was covered by Daniel Bass. Leverkusen playing very, very well.
Yeah, he's always dangerous in such positions, Michael. Patrick Schick sometimes so unpredictable, but whenever such a opportunities present, he can always, for sure, convert them into goal-scoring, chances.
Definitely a very, very top striker, one to definitely watch. Ibrahim Massa winning a throw-in for Leverkusen. Leverkusen handling the ball in the Mainz half of the pitch.
I can smell a goal here, Michael, almost.
Leverkusen definitely have increased the tempo on this game.
In the previous, glorious moments of Leverkusen, we used to have a fun that there is a Leverkusen o'clock, meaning there is a time when they can score. They've set a time that they must score. Could be they are waiting for that, Michael.
Perhaps we still have to wait for Leverkusen o'clock. But this time round, they are going forward. They have the ball. It is Fernandez, Kwanzaa who's got the ball. Ibrahim Massa sent in a long searching one, but he fails to find the head of Patrick Schick. Massa has the ball once more. And Leverkusen win a corner kick. Ibrahim Massa, he is definitely invigorating that wing over there. So Tape has moved in to the holding midfield position. And now you've got Ibrahim Massa playing on the wing, and he's pairing up now with Martin Terrier.
Just to mention, Michael, all the games that are currently being played, every other team has scored one goal, except for this one. Gladbach won. Of course, that goal has been cancelled, of course. Werder Bremen has scored one goal. We've had St. Pauli scoring one goal against Offenheim. The goal that Gladbach scored has been cancelled. But Leverkusen is still at 0-0 against Mainz.
All right, so we've got some shuffling and shoving in the 18-yard box as Leverkusen step up to take the free kick. And the referee has shown two players yellow cards, Stefan Posch and Edmond Tapsoba. There was a lot of shuffling and pushing around, so both of them have been warned. So Leverkusen corner kick.
The fans clearly agitated.
Pushing on the pitch.
And maybe this could be the goal-scoring opportunity for Mainz. And it is a goal! It is a goal! Geraldo Becker capitalizing on that counter-attack. The goal-scoring opportunity coming way from the Mainz half, taking chance on that, of course, counter-attack to convert it, Michael.
There's a lot of confusion on the Leverkusen side because they were appealing for a foul in the 18-yard box. It was Jadel Kwanzaa. So while they were appealing, the ball was re-kicked. Daniel Bass kicked it quickly into play. And unfortunately, Paul Nebel sent in a long searching cross. He found the foot of Geraldo Becker, who squared it past Daniel Blaswich. So momentary loss of concentration here by Leverkusen, ending up in a goal. But they are still protesting. I think this goal is going to stand.
It should be counted, Michael. That is what happens when you allow a team to capitalize on counter-attacks. If Leverkusen cannot find a foul, that goal for sure will count, Michael. And it is a beautiful goal.
It is a beautiful goal. It doesn't look like a foul. There's going to be a foul. It doesn't look like. It's a goal and it stands. So a lot of discussion happening on the pitch. All the coaches discussing. So it doesn't look like the referee is going for a VAR review. So that most likely is going to stand. And to make matters worse for Leverkusen, Geraldo Becker, the goal scorer, is going off, and we've got fresh foot, fresh legs.
Of course, the coach just needed him for that, just to score one goal, and then he's substituted. He was told, just go and score one goal, and then you will come and have yourself, counting that you've worked for that particular day.
And it is a very, 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 things have really taken a turn here in the game. As I said, a momentary loss of concentration by Leverkusen. That is what led to they conceding this goal.
And it counts, Michael.
It definitely. It counts.
Leverkusen 0 at home, Mainz 1.
Hopefully this is going to change the nature of the game. Leverkusen have been playing safe so far, but now they have a reason to fight.
A reason to fight indeed, and perhaps avoid a second goal being scored against them.
And confirmation that Geraldo Becker has gone off and Silas Mvumpa has come on.
How beautiful to be substituted, Michael, after scoring a goal. Work well done. And that was beckoning, Michael. Of course, Leverkusen must have been aware that, of course, they are building up and pressing so hard while piling the pressure, leaving their back exposed.
Yeah, counter-attack is one of the main ways that Mainz have scored this season. And so Leverkusen must have been aware of this. They like to possess and they like to go forward, but they should have taken care better of their defense. And so long as the referee hadn't whistled, the Leverkusen players should have stayed on the ball, kept their concentration. But in this case, the loss of concentration led to this goal, and they paid for it.
They've indeed paid for it. But of course, nothing changes in the league standing. They still are the 6th position. But at this particular point,
now we've played 71 minutes, 20 more minutes of regular time to play. So this is time for Leverkusen. If they've got any magic to pull, this is the time for them to pull that magic. So another substitute coming on for Leverkusen. Christian Kofane comes on for Ezequiel Fernandez. So Leverkusen bringing in all the strikers are trying to get a goal in this game.
they just needed a win, Michael, just to leapfrog RB Leipzig, who are the 5th in the league. But with this particular goal, if the game ends this way, Leverkusen remains at the 6th position, only assured of a Europa League, playoffs position.
Yeah,
Them being, a UEFA Champions League material, that would be a downgrade.
And if they lose this game back to back, following from last week's loss, it's going to be very, very devastating. And it's going to be very problematic for the coach.
Tapsoba, plays to Grimaldo. Grimaldo trying to find Jonas Hoffmann, but that has been cleared out, and it's a throwing for Leverkusen. Leverkusen still trying to build up, but currently they must be very careful not to expose their defense line. The game also growing to be a little bit physical, Michael, in this particular moment.
Yeah. Robert Andrich colliding there with Mvumpa, and both players fortunately back on their feet. But Leverkusen restart quickly, switch play from the left-hand side all the way to the right-hand side, but that ends up in a throw-in favor of Mainz. Leverkusen now know that the task ahead is very big, and they've got only a few minutes, roughly 15 minutes, to pull off the biggest equalizer and possible win in the last few weeks, and they've got only 15 minutes to do that.
But losing at home is never that comfortable, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would just even want to get a consolation goal just to end this goal, this game with a 1-1 draw.
So they've won themselves a free kick. Alejandro Grimaldo steps up. He checks. Leverkusen trying to build forward. They win themselves a throw in. And it is Tape who steps up to throw it, who has dropped back to defense. He finds Robert Andrich. Palacios is also there. And Leverkusen going forward. Pretty much like we've seen the whole of this game. Going forward, but not really
making any threat up front. Would you think there should be a mentality shift in this Leverkusen side? Having tried to build up all that while, and Mainz not falling into the trap, but instead punishing them through counter-attack, it should be a wake-up call for Leverkusen.
Mainz win themselves a free kick. Kofona has been tried to go in for the header, but the referee whistles that there was an infringement in that process. And the Bay Arena, George, has been sold out. All the seats are taken according to the information that was published on the attendance. And many of them obviously are Bayer Leverkusen supporters. And you can imagine the disappointment if they lose here at home to lowly Mainz.
Yeah, it can be very embarrassing and disappointing at the same time. Your team, which has qualified for the round of 16 to represent, being one of the teams representing Bundesliga in this European top flight football, suffering a defeat at home. It's unbearable, Michael. It is unbearable.
The problem so far that I see has been creativity up front when Leverkusen go up. You know, that's been the challenge so far. They're able to dominate the midfield, hold on to the ball, but the final third is always problematic for them.
Could it be a problem with the formation? Because I see solid players, you know, from the defense to the midfield, but, you know, depending on just a single player who is in the name of Patrick Schick, it could be that the formation is something they needed to change.
Once again, Mainz going forward, but this lands safely in the arms of Janis Blaswich. Leverkusen going forward once more is Andrich. He switches play to the left-hand side, finds Grimaldo, who collects it calmly. Grimaldo sends a long searching one, and it ends up in a corner kick for Leverkusen.
And just a reminder to all those following this particular game, Leverkusen versus Mainz. Leverkusen has so far substituted 4 of their players, while Mainz has just substituted 1, who is the goal scorer, Geraldo Becker. Meaning that the Leverkusen coach is eager to try and inflict a working formula just to find themselves, you know, a goal-scoring opportunity. But up until now, nothing has happened. 78th minute of play time so far. Leverkusen trailing against 13th place Mainz at home. This is not so good, Michael.
It doesn't look good at all for Leverkusen. And,
Also,
I mean, if you look at the fact that they will be facing a team like Arsenal in the Champions League soon, it leaves you wondering.
To be like a walkover.
If you're going to play against Arsenal in this current form, it's going to be challenging.
Definitely. And we are seeing right now, Michael, Danny Da Costa coming in. His performance in the previous games were very, very outstanding. And hopefully right now being brought in, it strengthens the attacking side of Mainz. Could we be staring at another goal, Michael?
Now that Leverkusen is trying to equalize, they are throwing a lot of players forward, and that obviously leaves them open to counter-attack. And so there's a real risk that Leverkusen could concede a second goal. Game ongoing here at the Bay Arena. Leverkusen, at the moment, 1 goal down. Mainz go forward. And it's Paul Nebel who finds Sano. Sano finds Dani da Costa, who sends in a long one, but that goes out of touch for a throw-in. A throw-in in favor of Leverkusen. It's the second minute, 82 minutes played. Leverkusen down by a goal and not looking like they are going to make any positive impact. So now more players being thrown in by Leverkusen. Alex Garcia comes on for Palacios. I should say Palacios, Ezekiel Palacios has had quite a rather quiet game.
Yeah, it was quite solid for him. He's, represented and came into, good performance when he was needed. There were some worries that Da Costa wouldn't be playing in today's match, but him coming in right now, it strengthens the Mainz striking front, and perhaps another opportunity for them to score another goal, which will for sure seal the fate of this particular one, and perhaps potentially bring them closer to the 10th position in the Bundesliga. To all our listeners following this particular live commentary, we appreciate you. You can comment and engage with us through our YouTube page. That is DW Africa, where this live commentary is currently ongoing. Also, those following through partner stations like UBC Uganda, we appreciate you. Send us comments on what is your prediction. Today's game features Leverkusen versus Mainz. Leverkusen is one of the top flights league sides in Bundesliga. Remember, this season they are the only team representing, the only second team representing Bundesliga in the round of 16 of the top flight European football. Them together with Bayern Munich. But Leverkusen currently trailing 1-0 against Mainz. What will happen with the fans who came in their numbers today, Michael, to support this particular team?
Yeah, it's going to be quite disappointing if they lose this game.
Pretty much can get a bit uncomfortable to people not playing in the field currently, because we're seeing Leverkusen potentially having the huge possession of the ball, but they're not doing anything materialistic with this possession. But who are we, Michael? We just, commentators of this particular game. They are the professionals playing. They know what they are doing. Hopefully what they are doing can please their huge number of fans who've turned up to give them support in this particular game.
But if indeed they will be able to do that, they've got 4 minutes of regular playing time to do so. We played 86 minutes, and Leverkusen is still down. And it doesn't. Anyway, we'll see. Let's see how it goes. The corner kick comes in really strongly from Andrich's foot, but it is headed outside. And Robert Andrich once again, he finds Alejandro Grimaldo. Grimaldo finds Tapsoba. He's going to let fly, but that is stopped.
Grimaldo obviously putting an extra shift here. He's almost everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's doing a fantastic job. If Leverkusen, of course, if they don't win this game, it wouldn't be the fault of Grimaldo. He's definitely played his part. He's everywhere, supporting in defense, going on the attack, and so he's done what needs to be done. He steps up for the corner kick from the far side. All of the players are in the 18-yard box. What can they do about this? But the ball goes out of touch for a goal kick.
Of course, Leverkusen need more of Grimaldos.
It's unfortunate what is happening with Leverkusen this season.
Bayer Arena is always, electrified, Michael. You were there last time. It's so, it's a huge fun to be there and to participate in watching this particular match. You see the love, the emotional connection the fans have with the team. But do you think the patience may be wearing off given this particular performance today?
I can certainly see that there's going to be a challenge, particularly with the coach, I should say, Kasper Neuland. He's a very good coach, no doubt, but I'm not sure what kind of tactic he's playing. Oh, and it's a goal! It is a goal! Leverkusen equalize! It was Leverkusen, who we were talking about only a few minutes ago. They have equalized at the 89th minute. Can you believe that?
Leverkusen o'clock.
Minute.
That is what we call Leverkusen o'clock.
What a goal by Leverkusen. Do they have enough time to add one more? Is there enough time? It was Kofane who did all of the hard work. He laid it squarely onto his right-hand side, and he found the boot of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa let the ball fly, and he beat the goalkeeper on the near side. What a fantastic goal. But is there enough time for another goal? Can Leverkusen win this? Will they have enough time to win this? Now we have a game on our hands. We've played 90 minutes so far. Leverkusen left it so late, but perhaps they have something in the bag to be able to win this game. One more goal, and they will be able to get all of the 3 points. 90th minute. Let's see what Leverkusen can do. They are building from behind once more. Robert Andrich.
Of course, Michael, they've been called and termed many a times the kings of comebacks, and that is pretty much them showing this in element. I wouldn't be surprised, Michael, if they pulled another goal, but that was a brilliant hard work from Leverkusen, not giving up, building patiently, taking advantage of that particular blunder by Mainz to convert that goal.
Leverkusen going forward, and it's Ibrahim Massa, who wins a throw in for Leverkusen.
Leverkusen o'clock is beckoning. The fans must be chanting Leverkusen o'clock. I don't pretty much understand German, but that could be the chant.
We've got 7 extra minutes. 7 minutes of extra time. Is this enough for Leverkusen to win this.
Could
We've
be.
got Kasper Højlund standing on the edge of the 18-yard on the touchline, egging his team on. And I was saying earlier that I think that if Leverkusen loses this game, he could be on the line because the team hasn't been playing very, very well. And as I said, I was in the stadium on Tuesday, and the kind of game that I saw them play, they seemed to be very, very comfortable. No, there wasn't any fire, and that's pretty much what we see here this afternoon. Hopefully, they can do something differently as Mainz try to go in for the kill, but that ball by Dani da Costa is shot way over the crossbar. Leverkusen now once more in possession of the ball. They have the chance to build again from behind as they do.
Jarrell Quansha must be very happy currently, Michael, having, of course, been in that position to just convert that particular goal. I didn't see that coming, honestly.
It was definitely against the run of play. Mainz was the team that was determining the pace and direction of the game. They were the one piling on the pressure, and it looked like they were going to take the win at the 90th minute. But Leverkusen have come back strong, and they have 5 more minutes to do some extra magic as they go forward once more. Leverkusen going for it. Tapsoba checks. He sends the ball all the way to the right-hand side, and he finds Tape. Tape is on playing on the wings. He switched back. They're going forward. Leverkusen back to Tapsoba. Tapsoba sends in a long cross on the edge of the 18-yard box. He finds Tape, who is free. Terrier, what's he going to be able to do? He finds Grimaldo. Grimaldo checks. He sends it back to Terrier. Terrier to Andrich. Back to Tape. Tape checks. Tape tries to go forward, but the ball is collected. And Mainz lose it one more time. Mainz in possession of the ball, but the ball is lost. Leverkusen in possession, going forward around the center circle. Back to Mainz and Andrich. Palacios going forward.
This is a good and impressive build-up, Michael. And pressure is piling against Mainz.
I hope they can do something in the last few minutes. We've got played 4 minutes of extra time, 3 more minutes left. Mainz would love a point from this game, and so they are slowing down the game in hopes that they can run down the clock.
But of course, a draw will be a success, judging by how all the dynamics of the games have played out, Michael. Leverkusen, of course, were the favorite side.
Absolute favorites to win this game, and they were expected to calmly collect all of the 3 points here. So sharing the spoils with Mainz would be a win for them, and it would improve their position on the table. Oh, Urs Fischer taking a knock from his own player.
We're telling him, sit down, coach. Oh!
That was close. Very, very close. But it was collected in the last minute by Daniel Batz. Leverkusen coming close to the second goal. 2 more minutes of extra time left. Mvumpa gets the ball. He tries to check 10, but he loses possession. And the ball ends up with Alejandro Grimaldo, who has been fantastic so far in this game. His work rate has been absolutely fantastic. He's been very, very good.
He's the man of the match today for me.
Mainz going forward. Mainz going forward. The ball is
Solid
stopped.
defending.
Oh, and it's a nice one. It's Jarrell Kwanzaa on that right-hand side.
Are
and
we
he's
seeing
going
a
forward.
breakthrough?
He's going forward. He's going forward, and it is stopped. It was Ibrahim Massa who had the ball in the 18-yard box. He tried to place it, but it was stopped by the Mainz defense. Stefan Posch putting in an extra shift to prevent that goal. Absolutely fantastic. So this is probably the last action of this game. We've played 6 minutes of the 7 extra time, and we've got a corner kick for Leverkusen. It is Alejandro Grimaldo who steps up. He lifts his hands up, sends it in. And it's a very, very poor header by Edmond Tapsoba. He was aiming for the far side of the post to beat the goalkeeper, but he loses it, and it's gone out of touch for a goal kick. Leverkusen out of time. We've played all 7 minutes of extra time, and the score is 7-7. Sorry, 1-1, I should say.
We hope
1-1.
It should have been 7-7.
That would have been quite a game, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Maybe you're making reference to goal scoring opportunities which were not there as well.
So Leverkusen going forward for one final push. One final push. What can they make out of this? They're checking, going forward. It is Terrier who goes forward, tries to send in a cross into the 18-yard box. But that is stopped. He finds Tape. Oh, and the referee blows for the end of the game. Referee blows for the end of the game. It is 1-1 here at the Bay Arena. The game ends 1-1 at the Bay Arena, and I can understand Leverkusen supporters will not be happy with this outcome.
Disappointment written all over the players' faces. They know for sure this was a game in their hand, but
this is a game that Leverkusen should have won easily. At home against Mainz, they should have won this. But they let this game slip out of their hands.
yeah, in other matches, Michael, we've seen Gladbach, of course, redeeming themselves, having won 1-0 against Union Berlin. Werder Bremen impressively has won against Heidenheim. And then third place Bundesliga side has suffered a defeat against Little St. Pauli. Quite unpredictable Bundesliga matches today. Later on, we'll be having Borussia Dortmund playing against Bayern, which is fondly referred to as Der Klassiker here in Germany. A very interesting match, Michael. I don't know if we should just check on the lineups of these particular teams.
Definitely. But this outcome here at the Bay Arena is not the Leverkusen side that we have come to expect, you know. Many people would have expected them to, you know, play quite better than they have. And this kind of performance is not a European Champions League performance.
Yeah, it's not really
you know,
that
the coach,
standard for
the
sure.
coach threw on all of his top attackers. You know, you had Fofana there, you had Patrick Schick on there, you have Terrier, you had so many attackers up front, but they were still lacking that creativity going forward. And this is something that they really need to check because it hasn't been looking very good for Leverkusen in the last in this season, I should say. They have lost quite a number of games, 7 actually. They have drawn 4 and they've won 12. And the point difference between Leverkusen and Bayern Munich is 20 points. So
20
points.
Pretty,
That's a lot of points, and
that's a lot of points, definitely.
as defending champions 2 seasons ago, if there was any hope that Leverkusen was going to challenge for the title, this is not a form for it.
This is indeed not a form for it, and of course they are now grappling to find just a slot within the European football competition, that is the UEFA competition. Being at the 6th position in the table, on the table, it's quite, an uncomfortable, outing for this particular side, who have, a very strong fan base in Leverkusen. But Michael, could you just take people through the lineups of the Bayer FC versus
Absolutely.
Borussia Dortmund?
As you refer to it, this is the Clasica, El Clasica. So we've got quite a lot of interesting players, and the two sides are quite loaded in terms of the depth of their squads. So Gregor Kobel is going to be the goalkeeper for Dortmund, the home side, and it's expected that Jan Coutu, Valdemar Anton, Nico Schlotterberg, and Daniel Svensson are going to play in defense. We're going to have Phyllis Mecha, Marcel Sabitzer, Emre Can playing in the midfield, and you're going to have Maximilian Bayer, Fabio Silva, Karim Adeyemi going forward. Fabio Silva, the top striker, and Maximilian Bayer and Karim Adeyemi playing on the wings. Now, this pairs up with Bayern Munich, who are fielding Jonas Obig as the goalkeeper. And we've got Josip Stanisic, Jonathan Tah, Dayot Upamecano, and Konrad Laimer in the holding midfield position. Sorry, the defensive position.
Yes.
Last week we had Alfonso Davis. However, I think that injury that he suffered must have really, really been serious, because he's not in the squad this time round, and that is very, very unfortunate. He's very exciting to watch, and the last few games that he played in the recent games, he was very, very instrumental to Bayern Munich. And so now we've got Josip Stanisic playing on the left defense, and we've got Konrad Laimer on the right. You've got Jonathan Tah and Dayot Upamecano in the middle. In the holding midfield, you've got Alexander Pavlovich and Joshua Kimmich in the holding midfield. On the wings, we've got Luis Diaz. Just listen to this, George.
Yes.
We've got Luis Diaz on the left.
Yes.
You've got Michael Olise on the right.
Yes.
You've got Serge Gnabry in the middle. I mean, how do you challenge this?
You can't challenge that.
And then you've got Harry Kane at the top.
That would be so difficult to challenge, definitely, Michael. But it's a game that we are looking forward to. And hopefully Dortmund will not disappoint, because many fans would have wished Bayern Leverkusen, someone to give them a run for their money, just to make the league also competitive. From us here, that's all we've heard today. Thank you for listening. My name is George Okachi.
And I am Michael Luchi. Remember that the Bundesliga comes your way every Saturday at the same time, and we bring you the games happening across the various match stadiums, and we keep focus on the African players who are in action. And yes, so join us every Saturday at the same time, 15:25 European time, Central European time, for the Bundesliga and all of the action associated with it. So a quick reminder of the results across the various match venues today. We've got yesterday there was a game between Augsburg and Cologne that ended 2-0 in favor of Augsburg. And then here at the Bay Arena, we had Leverkusen and Mainz, which ended 1-1. Werder Bremen won against Heidenheim 2-0, and Borussia Mönchengladbach won against Union Berlin 1-0. Union Berlin, who coincidentally won against Leverkusen last week. And Hoffenheim, St. Pauli traveled to Hoffenheim and defeated Hoffenheim at home. So that game ended 0-1 in favor of St. Pauli. And then this evening, starting in a few minutes, we've got the Klassiker, Borussia Dortmund, hosting Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, the table toppers, the multiple league winners, the current table leaders who have, a very wide gap, 8-point gap between themselves and Borussia Dortmund. And so today, Dortmund will be hoping to close that gap by winning at home, but they will be coming up against a Bayern Munich side that has a lot of players, top stars, who will be fighting to ensure that they collect all 3 points here. And a quick lineup again, reminder: the bench for the two sides. You've got Min Jae Kim for in defense, the defender. Before Rafael Guerrero, Leon Goretzka, Jamal Musiala, Tom Bishop, Leonard Carl, Nicholas Jackson also on the bench for Bayern Munich. And so it's going to be an exciting game. Do well to catch it. My name is Michael Ochi. Thank you for listening. I did this with
George Okachi. Many thanks for listening and be part of the conversation. Thank you.